Everyone treats summer like it owes you happiness. Long days, pool parties, your best life on a loop. So what does it mean when you feel worse? The summer blues are real. It's why summer is one of the busiest stretches of the year for people starting therapy. Therapy is not only for when you're in crisis. Grow therapy is for all the moments when you decide you want more. More support, more clarity, more tools. Mental health isn't a destination you reach. It's something you build, and Grow makes that easier. Grow connects you with thousands of high-quality licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. The therapist you want takes your insurance on Grow. Grow accepts over 125 insurance plans. Sessions average $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/booknow today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/booknow. growtherapy.com/booknow. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'd like a number 4. On the menu it says HB number 4. House Bill 4. I think that's a thing. It's morphin' time!
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here with Jamie as always, and I like what you did there.
I think I had a good thing going until I went to the Power Rangers, but I could not do it. And you'll find out in the second
I don't really
part.
understand that, but I guess we'll get there.
Time. Oh, you don't know why. Yeah, we'll get you there. I promise. Today's first story, though, is a fresh one and a pertinent one. If you haven't already, go back and listen to Monday's bonus episode with Anna Sonoda, the author of Duck, Duck, Groom, and Wait, That's Weird, as we have a full conversation about grooming laws, and what the future looks like for that. And we're in Kentucky, and the future is now.
Yeah, prior to July 15th of this year, 2026, Kentucky had, I would say, a robust set of laws against child abuse. But what it did not have was a law that criminalized the conduct leading up to the abuse. Under House Bill 4 of this year, which was passed, grooming is now a criminal offense. Grooming a minor is defined as an adult attempting to entice, coerce, solicit, or induce a minor to engage in sexual conduct or to have a secret relationship. The law has different thresholds depending on who the victim is and who the perpetrator is. For the general public, the law applies to victims under the age of 14, but for adults who are in positions of authority or special trust, the statute explicitly names teachers and coaches in that category. That age threshold moves down or extends all the way, to 17. And that distinction matters in the case that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, and if it's below 12, you may have said this.
That's what I was thinking of, yeah.
If it's below 12, it becomes a felony.
And above that, or 12 and above, it's a misdemeanor.
Which it shouldn't be, but that's a start. And basically, this just gives us something to say. Instead of, that's a creepy dude, we need to watch him. It's something where you can actually investigate and say, no, what you're doing is illegal and wrong, and we need to address it. And in a world where we can agree on absolutely nothing, I see all the time on TikTok, every time there's a hearing in our Senate, it's basically one side asking the other side who won the 2020 election, and the other side only asks, what's a woman? And they just go back and forth and argue. Nobody can agree on anything. Both sides are terrible about this. But in the state house in Kentucky, it passed 98-0.
That's unprecedented.
In the Senate, it passed 38-0. Unanimously approved. Governor Beshear signed it into law, or signed it on April 10th. It went into effect on July 15th. And John, we didn't have to wait very long for it to actually make a difference in somebody's life.
No, we didn't. So Jamie, why don't you tell us,
let's go to
where
Graves
was the
County.
first case that this
I couldn't
happened
tell you
at?
where Graves County is. Do you know where everything in Kentucky is in a county? And if I don't know where it is, I assume it's out west.
I think it is in western Kentucky.
So this is in Graves County. It is the far western corner of Kentucky, which Kentuckians call the Purchase, what I didn't know was a thing. It's down by Tennessee and the Mississippi River. It's where Mayfield is. They arrested the first individual charged, and I'm going to say charged because it hasn't gone through the legal process. So allegedly, middle school teacher Sadie Flores, who's 25 years old, had been employed there. The case began not with a school official, not with a detective, not with a tip line, but it started with a parent, which led to her being arrested and charged with this new grooming charge that was created due to House Bill 4. There were multiple messages between their child and Flores. The parents also discovered logs of incoming FaceTime calls from Flores and calls that had come in during late evening hours.
And I will stop you and say that now in Kentucky, even before this grooming law, even that is illegal unless a parent has explicitly signed a document saying that that teacher has permission to call my child or to even text message my child. But I think we can all agree that a teacher FaceTiming a student into the late hours of the evening, that's crossing a line.
That's weird.
Yes.
So if you haven't listened, please go listen to my interview with Anna. She's fantastic and has such a great view of this issue and perception of what's happening.
Superintendent Mike Madding confirmed as much as he could in a public statement. So, yeah, this teacher, Graves County middle school teacher, officials immediately reported this information to the Graves County Sheriff's Department for their investigation, and what followed was a focused investigation scouring those electronic records, the seized phones, and interviews. Jamie, I mean, what else, man? This is just, I hate everything that is about this.
Yeah, but I love the fact that it's working. I love the fact that it happened. As far as we know, we don't know the full story. Again, she's just being charged. Maybe this is a misunderstanding. I don't know. But as far as I know, it didn't lead to physical abuse. And while what has happened can be traumatic, can be harmful, I think anything we can prevent from happening that would hurt a child is a win. And I fully consider this a win, even if it is a misunderstanding. I don't know if I want to say that, but I just feel like calling it out, addressing it, saying the things out loud is a step in the right direction. On August 7th, Flores was interviewed by detectives at the school about 2:38 in the afternoon. At 3:30, she was placed under arrest at the sheriff's office and booked into the Graves County Restricted Custody Center, and later transferred out of county to a detention facility. As of this point, she no longer works for the Graves County school system, but this just happened a little over a week ago, so we have no trial dates or really rebuttals or any extra statements from her or anything out there. And I doubt we will before any kind of formal hearing. I don't think anything she could say right now would be beneficial to her case. I think the next step is for this child to get help to deal with whatever trauma this is going to cause, for the community to get that kind of help, and for the rest of the state and the rest of the country to take notice that this grooming, stalking, horrible situation happening with our kids has to stop.
You know, I think this is going to be interesting in court. Perhaps, but if this were to go to a jury trial, right, I think that some people's defense is going to be, you know, the student just needed help with something. They needed someone to talk to. They were having trouble at home. They were having this issue with a friend. They were having this and this and this, and I wanted to be a supportive adult. And I think, you know, maybe there are times where people want to do that. But I think as teachers and those who are in authority positions in the lives of students, you have to set professional boundaries and you have to refer students to the appropriate people to do that. So you can't be a savior to everybody, and you have to understand that. I think that these attempts, we'll prove it in court one day, but these look from an outside perspective to be malicious.
And I mean, even if they're not malicious, they are breaking the law in a number of ways. The communications, when they're happening, they fit the bill, pun intended, of House Bill 4 to a T. It's almost as if this was keyed up as an announcement. So, yeah, I think if you are out there and you have the right intentions, then you're well-intentioned enough to do things the right way, the legal way, the appropriate way to keep everything above board. Because if you are wanting to help a student and doing these things, guess what? You can't help them from jail.
No, you can't. And I mean, you and I both work with students. We teach Sunday school. We teach, we work with youth on Wednesday nights. But there are rules in place to protect the students and to protect us. If a student wants to talk to me, whether they're male or female, I have to have another adult with me. It's not even a question. It is, if you come up to me on a Wednesday night and say, "Hey, John, can we talk after this?" I have to tell the student, yeah, that's fine, if there's another adult willing to sit with us. So it protects the kid, and that's what it's all about. But it also protects us because we want to help kids, but we want to do it in a safe way for everybody.
I can't emphasize enough to go listen to that interview with Anna. Go buy all of her books, listen to her podcast. If you have questions about this policy, this law, this issue, how can you make sure that you are in a good position to avoid accusations, to avoid your kids being in danger. Anna has a lot of good answers that I think most people don't think about.
As my good friend Jim Carrey would say in Liar, Liar, if you want to, avoid those circumstances, well, then stop breaking the law.
That's a good quote. I haven't heard you break that one out. It's been 10 years. You've been saving it.
I won't say the rest of it, but we have another crime story for you. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Is this where we're going to talk about a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger?
It is, John.
I was expecting it in the last case, and it never came.
I'm glad it didn't. We can't let those guys go down like that. In my childhood, there were some popular shows that people would talk about. We talked about Ninja Turtles, He-Man, G.I. Joe. I think everybody was too ashamed to let everybody know that they love the Power Rangers.
Well, I can tell you with 100% certainty that I did not watch Power Rangers, and I'm mortified to know that maybe you did.
Aye, Power Rangers. That's what the robot sounded like. That's
Dude, you would have been an embarrassingly old age to have watched the Power Rangers as it came out. This came out when I was a teenager.
No, it didn't. We were like 9.
No, man.
We're going to look that up.
I'm certain. I mean, I did watch Barney, but I didn't watch the Power Rangers.
Barney did come out 2 years later. But this is a story really about burglary. And when you think about it, the difference between ninjas and burglars is just intention. The skills are the same. Sneaking around without being detected, being able to fight off somebody when you need to, being able to slip something away from somebody else without detection, and it helps to be a turtle. So tell me where this started out, John. It didn't start out in Harlan, Kentucky when I was watching Power Rangers.
Yeah, we're going to be going to Tokyo, Japan, which is wild. I don't know that we've ever been there before on this show.
By the way, we completely ripped that off. Power Rangers, we stole the actual footage from Japan. Anyway, go ahead.
What? Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of the fights were footage that somebody bought from a different show.
Did it have the really bad dubbing where their mouths didn't line up with what they were actually saying?
Well, that's why they wore the helmets, because they didn't have to move their mouths. They moved their bodies with emphasis.
If you're lying to me, you've really suckered me into this one. I've lost all focus. Keep on going, man.
Yeah, between late 2013 and September 2014, somebody had been breaking into a huge suburban region just north of Tokyo, Japan. There's a lot of 2-story homes with narrow gaps between them. I was in D.C. recently. A lot of those houses super close together. A lot of them are connected. But this person wasn't going in the doors, wasn't breaking in windows through the ground floors. This person was using some type of skill, some type of method to get in windows on the second floor.
In Kentucky, we'd call that a shimmy. They were shimmying up trees. They were scaling exterior walls. They were going up telephone poles, moving across balconies. But dude, they hit 43 homes and they stole 8.2 million yen. That is approximately 77,000 US dollars in cash and valuables from these homes. Japanese investigators working the case began calling the perpetrator the Spider-Man thief.
I like that. Spidey would never do that, though. He's a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
When they finally caught this guy in September of 2014, they discovered why he was so good at it.
What was his name, John?
Yasutomo Ahira.
Yasutomo Ihara.
Fair enough.
He was 32 years old, and he had spent years as a professional stuntman, wearing the suit, performing fight sequences, executing aerial acrobats.
Are you about to tell me what I think you're about to tell me?
He was in a show called Super Sentai, which is what American audiences know as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Holy crap.
So just to get into more of what I told you earlier, Super Sentai was a long-running Japanese show, live action TV show, and it had been running continuously since the 70s. And in 1993, two individuals from America purchased the franchise and adapted it to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. How old were you in 1993, John? 9 years old.
I don't want to admit that I was wrong.
Boom, chicken soup. Here is why many Americans didn't know that. The battle sequences, the helmeted combat, were not filmed by the American cast. They were all original Japanese footage. So it's part of the case here, John.
Yeah.
Every kick, every flip that you think Billy, Tommy, or Jason did, every wall run by Kimberly, and I can't remember the other girl names, in full costume were performed by those Japanese stunt people. And Ihara, who robbed these houses, he appeared in Tensu Sentai Goseiger, which became known as Megaforce in the American adaptation.
There's no way you knew all this without having a pretty extensive knowledge coming into this. I think I've learned a lot about you. I bet you like anime, and I don't even know.
I don't like anime, but I did like the Power Rangers.
In 2009, he suffered a knee injury that was severe enough to end his stunt career. So goodbye, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Hello, criminal world. He was 27 years old. The stunt industry in Japan, as in the United States, has very little infrastructure for performers whose bodies give out. I mean, if you want to do the long game, Jean-Claude Van Damme, some of those guys, they were doing this stuff for a long time.
They're still making those Expendables movies.
Yeah, there's no disability insurance specific to this profession. There are no pensions. So the longer that a stuntman can perform, the more money they make, and they work until their bodies can't. And this was a really short career, all things considered. So he had to turn to a life of, not legal ways to get money.
Yeah, I mean, when a stuntman gets hurt or can't continue, they just don't stunt no more. They have to find a different career. And he tried to get into acting.
Stunting ain't easy, man.
Stunting, I've always said that. That's the new True Crime Cast t-shirt. Acting school in Japan's apparently not very cheap. Professional training programs are really expensive. So he was watching this career he had built as a stuntman and had really been training hard for go down the drain. And after the injury, that's when he came up with this plan to rob these 43 houses. He would identify a target, move in at night, scale the wall, and go in, and was often in and out without anybody knowing about it. It was really impressive what he was able to do. And obviously he's taking from people, and that's terrible, but it was really impressive objectively.
Yeah, I mean, if you break this down, he hit 43 homes. He was making nearly $2,000 per home in the cash and valuables that he stole.
That seems not worth it. Just throwing that out there.
Well,
that
I mean, crime isn't worth it at all. So Yeah, this guy, how did he end up getting caught?
Well, the entry method was consistent enough and distinct enough where they were able to say this is probably the same person, maybe a small group of people. Witnesses had noted that there was a tall man on a bicycle who seemed to pop up in each of these neighborhoods shortly before the robberies took place. And the man who seemed to be studying the neighborhood had some ulterior motive, and that's when police moved in on September 8th, 2014, and arrested then 32-year-old Yasutomo Ihara.
And he was not sentenced until 2020. That was 6 years after his arrest. The reason for that gap are not fully established and understood to us at the time of this reporting, but that's a long time. Maybe things are just really backed up over there.
Maybe they are. And, this is a big deal. This is a lot of money. And I joked about it being just a little bit of money per robbery, but that's a lot of robberies. That's a lot of counts of a crime. So it is, it's a huge deal. And it's something that I don't think we see pulled off very often. So it's no surprise to me that a ninja did it.
Yeah. And I don't know that there's anything else I can say about that.
Yeah, I feel like I've really put myself out there in ways I didn't expect to today. I
mean, it's okay to be vulnerable, but that was a lot.
That was a lot. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's...
you were devastated when... Do you know what color Power Ranger he would have been portraying?
Only because I read... I mean, he never took the mask off, so I wouldn't have known. But he was the Green Ranger, which was Tommy in the American version.
I love that they gave him the most American names when they came over.
Well, it was a white dude when he took the helmet off.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, like...
It was Tommy, Jason, and Billy. Yeah. And then, I can't remember.
It had to be like Jessica or Sophie.
Yeah, it was probably Heather, Jessica, and Samantha. Those are the names that everybody had in the 90s. But it came out when I was 9, so take that, John.
Well,
and
I don't think it came to Jellicoe till much later.
We didn't account for the Jellicoe.
We didn't let ninjas come in. If it wasn't John Wayne, it wasn't for us.
You're probably not wrong about that. But this is, I don't know how I didn't know about this sooner. The other Power Rangers guys have gotten in quite a bit of trouble with violent things. So, well, all things considered,
join us next time for that, potentially.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. We can get into that. We can have a whole series of Power Ranger content if you won't make fun of me.
I'm going to make fun of you, but it sounds fun anyway.
This has been a crime story in 20 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Hey, before we get out of here, we've got a recommendation for your next listen.
If you're looking for some more true crime, but with a real focus on advocacy and giving a voice to the people at the center of these cases, you've got to check out Fire Eyes Media.
Yeah, our friends Jules and Jen are doing incredible work over there. They tell stories that matter. They never lose sight of the victims, which is really important to us. They never lose sight of the families or the communities that were affected.
Go check out Missing in Hushtown, Secrets Beyond the Sacramento River, or Case Uncovered. Every show is thoughtful, compassionate, and incredibly well-researched. They're great storytellers, and they have a lot of people involved over there that help them create a ton of content that you might love.
We love what they're building over there, and we genuinely think that you will as well. So please go check them out.
When you finish this episode of True Crimecast, make your next listen one of the podcasts from Fire Eyes Media. You can find them wherever you get your favorite podcasts.